Hello, my name is Dr. Lawrence W. Moore, and welcome to Sound Design for Relaxation, Meditation, and Sleep. This is a companion series to my series of sound experiences, simply called Sound for Relaxation, Meditation, and Sleep. I'm going to keep both this series and those sound experiences in playlists side by side each other on my YouTube channel so that people who are utilizing the series to help them in relaxation, meditation, and sleep can also interact with me here, find out more about what I'm doing in these sound experiences, what I'm planning on doing, and hopefully we can make this a little bit more interactive where I get more feedback from my listeners and people that are using these sound experiences so that I can help make things better and maybe customize things in different ways. I know there's not going to be one perfect sound experience for everybody, and we're all different in what helps us quiet the mind, so to speak, which is the main goal for all three before you can go beyond that point. And so I decided this would be a good series to have to interact with you. Thank you so much for some of my audience members so far that have been very helpful with their comments and feedback. Um, Amelia, thank you very much. Nameless One, thank you. And Mike Gorley, thank you for your comments. Incidentally, I might as well mention this right now. If anybody is interested in some beautiful music on exotic instruments like the dutar, which is a stringed instrument from the Middle East, or Native American flute playing and things like that. I'm going to put Mike Gorley's username down in the description so you can find his stuff. Definitely some beautiful music there. Anyway, going forward with this series, in this first episode, I'm going to cover the first 7 sound experiences that I have made. And these include a variety of elements, and usually in the YouTube titles, I put in what elements are included. Now, there's some difficulties there because there's limitations as to how many characters you can have in a title on YouTube. And I like to have each one start off with sound for relaxation, meditation, and sleep, which tends to be a little bit long in character length. So I've had to shorten it and abbreviate it RMS, sound for relaxation, meditation, sleep. I think we'll just call it SRMS from here on out. Not to be confused with ASMR, but SRMS. There we go. So, yeah, because, for the searching and finding of these videos, I wanted, keywords in the title related to what the videos or the sound in them is about. And some of the techniques being used. It's important when you're using ocean waves, for example, to try and put that in your title. When you're using binaural beats, that's good to use that in your title, or synth ASMR, and some of these other techniques that I've included. I try to squeeze them in the title as best I can, as well as other important key phrases like black screen for the versions that have a black screen and no visuals. So anyway, it's a tough chore doing that. But in any case, eventually in time, as we go forward, I might, just expand outward and have some playlists that are just for meditation and some that are just for relaxation and some just for sleep, where as we discover together what techniques are most effective can be applied in those specific areas. It's all about listening, trying, and communicating. So without any further ado, I'm basically going to show you underneath the hood some of what I've been doing in these first 7 sound experiences, so that when you understand what the terminology is, it'll be easier for you to communicate with me then in telling me what things have worked for you and what has not. And at the same time, if there are other musicians, and I know plenty of musicians do follow this channel, especially those into synthesis and electronic music or music production. If you want more information about how I achieve some of these sounds, I can definitely do that for you. I primarily use the software VCV Rack, which is a free download for Mac, Windows, and Linux. And anybody with a computer can pretty much use them. And then you just need the knowledge. I have other series for that knowledge on this channel, so you can check those out. But in any case, let's get on with the agenda. Okay, so here we are. I have the playlist here. This is the YouTube playlist. Oh, I do want to mention at this point that I've been pretty much good about putting out a new sound experience each week. And when they're under 100 views, it's definite that you're not going to have YouTube pop in an ad. I am currently at almost 500 subscribers and about 2,200 watch hours for the year. I need to cross 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours for the year before I can control where ads go. At this point, if YouTube decides to put ads in things, they put them in. And I've had one occasion where I was listening to, to help me sleep at night. I believe this one right here, episode 2. And after about 10 minutes, an ad comes in. And I felt like it was a stab to the gut right there. I'm like, oh, don't do this to me. Because, for you, the listeners, that's just going to put you off. And especially, I want to make it clear, I'm not putting them in. Okay, I'm not going to do that to you during a program of sound that's supposed to help you relax, meditate, or sleep. I mean, some casual relaxation stuff may be, but meditation and sleep, no. But it hasn't happened often. And I've listened to some others that were above 100 views, and it didn't happen. So, if I keep putting out more material, there should be enough that haven't reached 100 yet where you don't have to worry about it. Now, I appreciate for you to help me out on YouTube to, at least when they're under 100 views, to watch them or use them on YouTube, so it helps me grow. But if you really want to be using one of these and make sure an ad doesn't come up, I do have my channel mirrored on BitChute and Odyssey. So there, they don't put ads and things, and you can go there. Like, for example, if you want to hear this one and you really don't want an ad to come up after 10 minutes when you're just getting into it. But at least when they're under 100 views, it really helps me with the watch time and growing my channel for it to happen on YouTube. So anyway, enough of that. I'm going to go through now and talk about each one of these and actually show you what I've done to make them. Not in complete detail, although I will follow up this episode with some episodes explaining a little bit more about the individual sounds, but right now, and how I make them. But right now, I want to at least just talk about the different techniques used so we can get on like a common frame of reference for communicating back and forth about some of these things. So the first one I released is an hour-long program that's just ocean waves. And here we are in VCV rack where I have that. And basically I am going to okay, initialize that and slowly turn you up. Now in the program, it's a much more gradual fade in. And right now, for some reason, I'm not hearing anything. Let me check something out here. Okay, I got it. All right, so anyway, I'll let it play just a little bit so you can hear them. But it is a gradual fade in. Sorry, I just moved the pan button for some stupid reason. I meant volume. There we go. Okay, so I'll talk about it a little bit now. Basically, yeah, no, just simply ocean waves. And that video does come with visual. It looks something like this, except it's full screen. It's from the Project M library. It's an open source visualizer, like software that they integrated also with VCV rack using the low-fat milk module from RPJ. And this individual visualization is called Antidote Side Effects Mix. So anyway, this is a technique that I used for ocean waves that is different. So if you listen to this first video and compare it to the others that follow, all 7 of my sound experiences thus far utilize ocean waves, at least at the beginning, and sometimes in the background throughout. And some of them I do phase them out in favor of other things, and we'll talk about that as we go. But you might want to just check it out and say, okay, so this is how this set of ocean waves from video 001 sounds, and then you can compare that to what I did that followed. In the next video, and I'll be calling these videos and sound experiences interchangeably here. Sorry about that. Some of them do have visuals. Some of them have black screen. Okay. This is episode or sound experience 002. And this one is ocean waves and binaural beats. The ocean waves are achieved using a slightly different arrangement of oscillators in this one. The one thing that maybe you could let me know is whether you prefer the ocean waves from the first one or compare them to the second one. I kind of prefer the second one myself, this version, and I utilize this approach to ocean waves pretty much from here on out. And I organize things a lot better with the mixer, and the binaural beating is included in this one. I usually like to start off any of the episodes where I have binaural beating, or at least most of my sound experiences now, I like to start off with the ocean waves to begin with, slowly fade it in, and then I gradually fade in, more gradually than I'm going to do now, but I gradually fade in the binaural beating while reverberating. The reverberating kind of like takes away the beating's pulsing effect. And I'll be talking about that in a few minutes. But right now, this for me is just a nice arrangement of frequencies that form sort of a chorus. And I did this because going back to the days of Robert A. Monroe's Gateway Experience recordings, he had resonant tuning as part of it. Those were all guided, so there's narration throughout. I don't really do that, or at least not yet. Never say never, but this is my version of that, and I encourage people that when they hear this come in soon after, you know, there's Ocean Waves on their own for a little bit, and then this comes in. When this comes in, something like that, I think can be very beneficial to the whole experience to chant. Now, if you're doing this on headphones with your partner sleeping in bed, then you may not want to do that. But, you know, but yeah, definitely these sound experiences are for headphones. What I'm going to do now is turn off the reverb on that. Now, I do all changes very gradually in these sound experiences, but here I have to do it quicker just so it doesn't take too long to explain these things. But usually soon after that, I either fade that out or transform it so that the reverb goes away, and then you can hear the binaural beating. Now, what binaural beating is basically a frequency in your left ear and a frequency arriving to your right ear that are slightly detuned. And when they're detuned by small amounts in hertz, that's how many pulses you hear per second. Depending on the kind of speaker you're hearing this on, you may not be able to hear that as well. And also, it's really, the technique is designed for use with headphones, because your left ear is receiving one frequency, your right ear is receiving another, so that the right and left brain hemispheres, which correspond oppositely with the ear, left ear goes to the right brain, right ear goes to the left brain, they're receiving different frequencies, but they rectify them together in a way that creates that pulsing effect. It's a psychoacoustic phenomenon. And that pulsing effect, depending on its rate, can help change your brainwave activity to reach different states. I'm currently using a rate for the delta wave brain state, which is best for sleep. I might do some meditations where it's a theta wave brain state, which is a slightly faster rate. But I usually like to hide these within some waves or some sort of noise, because if you hear the binaural beating on its own, just give it a second for the waves to go away, it can be a little bit clinical, stale, and drive you crazy after a bit. Some people do release binaural beats on their own. I like to put a little bit of something else with it, especially ocean waves, because it helps ease that stark tone. So, yeah, this second sound experience is just ocean waves and binaural beats, but I do use different frequencies of tones for the binaural beating. For example, this is A432, and in fact all these tones are basically tuned according to the system of A432 tuning. Our Western Hemisphere based tuning system is typically A440, 440 hertz, being the A above middle C. But I basically changed everything so that it works with A432, which is more in line with earlier music, but in this case also I've read in a lot of places where they found tones utilizing this tuning system help create more uplifting feelings and so forth. So I decided to try, and actually I like them. I like these frequencies better than the ones that Monroe used in the Gateway Experience. Although I have great respect for him because he basically almost started all this back then. So anyway, yeah, I use different combinations of these different frequencies, all creating a delta wave binaural beat pattern. And sometimes you get different pulses as you raise and lower different ones in combination with each other. But anyway, I'm just basically showing you all this right now because, you know, to create that common frame of reference. So that is, and I still use these frequencies for my binaural beating to this day, you know, in all the following episodes, or they're not episodes, come on, SMRS experiences. So let me go on here to 3. Now, as the file name says here, and I have fits, you know, with the file names and stuff too, because it's like I'm trying to keep them the same as YouTube titles, but YouTube has that limit. You know, this is where I have binaural beats, ocean waves, had to take the word ocean out to make it fit in YouTube, and then ambient music. And you can see here's a visualization. I put the credits for the visualizations in the description of the videos. But this one used some ambient music in it. And so let's say we've done the ocean waves, we've done the chant with the binaural tones that reverberated so they don't really sound binaural, with the chant sequence, and then that fades out, and then I do the binaural beating to kind of really bring someone deeper into the state. Well, then I felt, you know, for people that are still not quite there yet, maybe some ambient music would help. And I just like the sound of some of these tones. Now, this would be mixed a little bit better, you know, in the actual release itself. I'm just showing you what they are. So this is what I would call, in the description I say ambient music, but if you think about, these are like synth tones, or each one of these orbs stimulates different sounds. But I felt that maybe some of these events might have been a little too strong, especially when it thickens up. And so it's kind of, they move around so you don't hear the same exact thing over and over again. It's just kind of little instances of sound that I felt were pleasing and relaxing, but I had some feedback that maybe it was a little too much. Maybe it was a little heavy-handed in that episode. I keep calling them episodes. but in that sound experience. So what I did is I adapted it a bit, and this one I added synth ASMR. I believe this is number 4 we're on now. It has the ambient music and ASMR. And it had underwater visuals. I want to get that out of the way, so I have to tell it, here, turn off the no frames, so I can get you out of the way. So what you're hearing right now are the ocean waves, but also this crackling sound. That prickling sound is the synth ASMR. Now it's different than what ASMR frequently is, where it's somebody whispering or talking to you, and they turn up the higher frequencies, so you kind of hear a lot of their saliva crackle. I'm not really down with that, so I don't like to hear saliva crackles. So I use the same kind of thing, but with a synthesized sound in these kind of prickly sounds that I think help. Now, you're hearing them right now, but in the course of I think in this one they do go throughout. And in this one I do have the ambient music as well. But I think I changed one of the tones. And it went, I think, much better. Oh, the volume's down on that. When I'm doing these, I have to, really be... Oh, there's our chant. Are they here? No. It's been a few weeks since I've done this one, so I'm not... Oh, it is. It's on group 4. Okay. There we go. So, yeah, I really like the way this one went. This will be the sound experience number 4 with the underwater diver visualization. Because I brought these in gradually, one at a time. And the frequencies, once again, are tuned to the A432 tuning. Arrangement. And so I kind of like to go back to exploring this again in using this version of the ambient music. And also let me know what you think about, I've used it from here on out, the synth ASMR, which is the prickly sound that you hear. Right now in this, where the mixer was at in this one, the waves are kind of quieter than what they start out at. But yeah, when I do these, I record myself mixing things in real time. So in the 1 hour sessions, it's me there for an hour doing it. And if I pop some note out or something by accident, I stop and start over again. Yeah. Now, I know that there's ways of using a digital audio workstation, a DAW, and automating things. I've done things that way before in music. But I would still think, even doing it that way, since you have to go back, hear things, and place your fades and stuff just properly, it might take just as long. So I basically go through the experience with you as I mix things in and out. But at least now you know some of the components so far. There's the waves, the binaural beats, there's the ASMR prickles, the synth ASMR. There's, I'm just calling this ambient music or ambient tones. And then we went back to ocean waves and binaural beats. This time, wait a minute. Make sure I'm on the right one here. This one here. Yeah, 5. Ocean wave binaural beats, but no visualizations. This was the first black screen, as requested by Amelia, and I think it went very well. Believe it or not, doing things with black screen is a lot easier for me. But I'd like to hear more comments about that. Are people out there that really like the visuals? Maybe in time, I can divide things out where, for people that want ambient music for background while they're doing stuff, it's kind of like relaxation, but you're not actually relaxing. You just want something while you're working or something that's in the background and you like to have the visuals there. I could definitely do that. But, it does take longer because sometimes I'm phasing in and out different visuals gradually. And also selecting the right one that matches is not always easy. But anyway, this fifth sound experience was also 2 hours. And so, yeah, like I said before, 2 hours of me real time mixing it, fading things in and out. Alrighty, so let's go here to the 6th one that had these kind of like frosty caves is the name of the visual. But this one had let me just close you. This one had our normal sequence of ocean waves on their own, then the chant sound with the binaural beat tones, then removing the reverb so that the binaural beats were really binaural beats. And what I've been liking to do is gradually bring the ocean waves down so that basically, maybe about 10-15 minutes of the way in, they're low like that. And when the binaural beats are going on their own, I like to bring them in and let me make the necessary adjustments with a little bit of noise right here. And I'll show you what that sounds like. So basically the wave experience gradually reaches a point where it's like this. You kind of hear almost like the waves as if they're outside of the entrance of a cave along the beach. And to add to the caves stuff, we can bring in our synth ASMR with the prickles. And let me see, the binaural beats actually are more like this. There we go. And so I like that as a point of arrival. And then what I did in this one is I started doing some ambient organ thing combined with what I'm calling uplifting harmonics. They're basically based on the sound of Tibetan singing bowls. which was another recommendation from Amelia. But when I made this sound, I also liked the sound of the same sound design, but at a slightly different frequency, where I could play what I called at the time ambient organ, because it sounded kind of like that. But, you know, I do it very carefully and gradually and kind of build up to it, because it's kind of hard to kind of like, sometimes a musical melody coming in can be really abrupt, and I try to do it slowly. But I felt in this 1 hour version, it got a little bit busy because I'm playing around, and you know, the composer in me, that's what the doctorate's in music composition, by the way. The composer in me is trying to work out these phrases and ideas, because I am improvising, but work them out so that they do create a good piece of music. And it got a little bit busy, I think, for what the actual intent was. But I do have a strategy for the next one. Now, I'm not going to open up number 7, because number 7 is this same thing but without the visuals. And what I did in 7 is, that was a 2-hour program. And what I did is, for the last 45 minutes, we were pretty much here, what you're hearing right now, something very close to it. Kind of like that state of having reached arrival for sleeping, especially. But, you know, I received feedback that the ambient organ, or the melody, you know, I did have one included, but it was more subdued, less movement of notes, and I guess a little less melodic. And what I'm thinking of doing is, in the next one, I am going to have that melody, but I'm going to have it before we get to this point, because the idea will be, here, let's lower these. Let's say we're back closer to the beginning, and we reach a point where the ocean waves are in balance with these kind of like singing bowl harmonics. And then at this point, before we really go deep into the quiet, like in the cave, get to sleep now sort of moment, I think at this point I could definitely do some ambient organ melody. You know, that sort of thing, where it's basically earlier in the program where, you know, the waves are happening and you're getting into the good vibes, you're starting to feel relaxed, feel good, and maybe have an uplifting melody and things while your mind is still active to help try and calm it. And then I'll slowly take things away and reach a quieter state where the waves are quieter. We're going to have soft prickles, and this would be after about an hour. So let's say we have an hour going from ocean waves on their own, through the chant, through the reaching binaural beats, and eventually get well, actually no, quieter waves. I think I'll wait for the binaural beats until after, you know, we're going to do the chant, and then maybe melodies and some musical ideas until, you know, we eventually get into very quiet ocean waves. And then eventually things will gradually leave until we're at this point where it's just a binaural beating, a little bit of warm central noise. And I'll leave the listener there for like an hour, because that's at the point where I'm hoping you might be asleep already, or if you're doing meditation, you're focused and you're silent and you're, you know, the musical stuff, I'm going to shift more towards the beginning. Not right away, but more towards the beginning, like after the chanting ends, because then it's something for your mind, like a lullaby to get lulled to sleep. And then when I feel like the compositional idea has run its course, because, you know, playing the same musical idea for an hour, so anyway, yeah, so I'm basically going to be not just sound designer but composer in the next one, which hopefully will be out for Sunday. And we'll see what people think about that. But yeah, now we're at least on a common frame of reference here about some of the terminology I'm using in the different stages. So now when you hear them, you kind of know what those sections are, or at least maybe be able to communicate better with me about what sections are. But definitely this Sunday's number 8 is going to be I'm hoping the best one yet. You know, I am going to do a 2-hour black screen. But let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are. After this, I am going to do a little bit more tutorial type stuff, like on how to make these sounds in VCV Rack. I've done a little bit of that before, but I want to do more of that again, because now on my channel, this channel, I'm focusing more on my music, sound experiences, and tutorials related to them, rather than generalized tutorials. I'm actually going to be putting that on a channel that I have that went dormant, and I'm going to basically call it the Wayfarer Project Learning and start that off. Also, you'll see some of the graphics change a little bit. I'm enhancing them. It'll still all be recognizable, but yeah, so I'm working on this, man. I am enjoying doing this and my interaction with an audience, and hopefully you folks can, you know, give me that motivation to keep going. It helps when other people are there and enjoying what you do. So basically, until next time, take care and stay free.